Well, welcome back to 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse for some really, and I mean really, shitty cinema today. Because I just sat through, and it took me 3 nights to sit through this thing as I kept falling asleep. This movie works better than Ambien or whatever that shit is. And that movie, my friends, is Revenge of the Dead. See the cool box and the zombie coming up through the sewer grating and shit like that? Well, guess what? It has nothing to do with fucking anything. This guy, whatever this stupid fucking movie is, it's a one-title thing. It says something about Zerum or something like that. And let's see the wonderful thing. One man search for an ancient secret and the dead will rise from their graves. Bull fucking shit. One guy rises from a grave. He don't have any bottom teeth. He's some kind of defrocked priest or something. And you will sit there. How long is this piece of shit? 96 fucking minutes? You will sit there and wonder when something's going to happen, because some shit does happen, but it doesn't make any sense. There's a couple killings, but again, they don't make any sense. It's like you don't watch horror movies to fucking have to follow a complicated fucking plot that goes fucking nowhere. And of course, what was this fucking thing? There was something weird about, it's a one-name title. It's just this, Zedar. Zeder. That's the actual title of this thing, Zedar. So why the fuck they called it Revenge of the Dead is beyond me. It sort of fits into that whole fucking mode of really bad, shitty direct-to-video zombie movies that somebody picked up. Like, let's see, Zombie Lake, The Dead Are Alive, Oasis of the Zombies. This sort of reminds me of, remember that 40s film I talked about, Valley of the Zombies, that had absolutely positively no fucking zombies? Well, it's close to this piece of shit. And I'm serious. I fucking fell asleep 3 damn times and woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning on my recliner with the end credits running over and over and over. So, was it worth the $1.95 I paid for it? No. Well, maybe because I guess a DVD case is probably worth $2 now with inflation and tariffs and shit like that. But man, oh man, do not watch this fucking movie. I'm telling you, if you just want to waste 90 fucking minutes of your life, you'd be better off staring into the sun. Okay? Or watching paint dry. Or going behind the supermarket and watch them unload the trucks. Or go to Giant Eagle and watch the lemon pie go sour. I don't fucking know anything but watching this piece of shit. Oh, yeah, right? That's been my week, trying to get through this fucking garbage. But anyway, being that Chiller's 35th anniversary is coming up, a couple people had asked me, well, who was your favorite guest there? Well, that's not a hard question to answer, because obviously it was Zachary, because that's what brought everybody to the dance to begin with. Zachary was at every show, and to my knowledge, never did any other conventions, except I think he did Monster Bash once, because that was classic horror. But he was completely loyal to Chiller. And Zachary was an East Coast icon, a cultural icon, an underground icon, whatever, because besides, the whole thing was, I had seen him, well, I go back to the history. He started in Pittsburgh on this afternoon Western show called Action in the Afternoon, and he was a Western undertaker. Then it evolved into hosting, I think it was Chiller Theater out in Pittsburgh, as Roland. Then he came to New York under his real name, Zachary. His name is John Zachary. And he hosted Shock Theater late at night on Channel 7. And then that segued down the line into where I saw him. He was doing something in the afternoon. Some kind of kids thing, but then they put him back with Chiller Theater at 8 o'clock on Saturday nights. And that ran for quite a while. Then that ended. Then he became a DJ, I believe, and it might have been See, there was, the counterculture rock was starting this. This was like, mid-'60s, time around like Grateful Dead, Mothers of Invention, Country Joe and the Fish, Love, Santana, all these great bands popped up. But they weren't getting any airplay because they weren't top 40, I believe. So that was the AM station. So the FM started, and Zach was a DJ on, I can't remember the call letters. It might have been NEW, WNEW or something. I don't know, but I know he was on that for a while. And he also was the master of ceremonies for a Grateful Dead concert in Central Park in New York and a couple other things. So he was with it all the time. And then, you know, with 1990 rolls around, Kevin Clement asked me if I wanted to work security for this convention he was putting together called Horathon, which would become Chiller. And I, of course, you know, mercenary in me, what does it pay? Well, it doesn't, but you get to hang out with Zachary. So that was it for me. I mean, you know, childhood hero, just loved the guy to death. And when I met him, I was completely marked out. And like I said, one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet, down-to-earth guy, never fucked over his fans with these ridiculous autograph prices. I don't even think he charged half the time. I think he stayed at $10. That was about it. So, yeah, you know, he was the best, and, you know, there's other ones, too. I, you know, do a little fucking thing down the road about, you know, who I liked, and, but, you know, you pick up my second book, Whole Bag of Crazy Part 2, and I pretty much cover my whole, you know, convention thing there in, you know, one section. It's like, you know, you got the crazy shit, you got the conventions, and you got the pro wrestling from the 10 years I was, you know, involved in that whole thing on the indie circuit. So, yeah, Zach was the best. I mean, there was other guys too, but I can get into that down the road. But, you know, Zachary stayed with that show until his health completely gave out on him, and he couldn't go anymore. And I know there was something circulating, I don't know, something about he was having problems paying his medical bills and shit like that. And I wasn't with the show anymore, but I, you know, got his address, and actually I mailed him a check. And he returned the check with a note thanking me profusely, but, you know, it was a miscue that somebody said something. He has really good medical insurance and everything is fine. So that's the kind of guy he was. And I miss him, and I'm sure there's thousands of other people connected with the business and Chiller Theater and the convention and everything that miss him too, because he was irreplaceable. He was an original. He was one of the first horror hosts, and was an icon in many ways. So, yeah, he was probably my favorite guest to have there. So that's our show for today. Big shout out to the Fusebox Show and Grindhouse Releasing. We'll be back Friday with some more madness. So until then, stay safe. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you on the flip side.